Hello, listeners, and welcome to our podcast. Here, we will talk about time management and how it will be useful in our daily lives. Also, we will talk about why many people struggle to manage their time and how will I relate myself to the masses. First, let me define time management. Time management is the ability to finish a task on a minimum amount of time. Also, how it will useful in our lives. Time management is useful in our lives because it is the key in order for us to have productivity on our task, have productivity on our hobbies, or have time with our family and friends. Next is the advantages of an effective time management. First is that you will be stress free because with proper time management, we can apply it in our workload and how we finish our task. Second is that you could do your task productively. Just like just like the first one, doing our task productively means that we tend to do it with a longer time than being on a cramming mode. For the third is you will have more free time. If we have time management, we tend to balance our work and our life. Okay. For our work is the actual work or the actual task that we get in order to have money or to have a good grades in school. Second is the our life. Example is watching TVs, spending time with our loved ones, and also doing our good hobbies. Next is next is that or fourth is that there will be no waste of time. With proper time management for me is that having a waste of time is that we tend to procrastinate. First is that why procrastination? Because I will relate it I will relate it to overthinking. Procrastination is the cause of overthinking. Just like how will I do it? Therefore, instead of doing our task, we tend to check out our phones and watching our reels. Therefore, there will be waste of time instead of doing the proper task because we tend to overthink on what we do, what we should do that. And I will state it later on our the habits and practices to have an effective time management. For the fifth advantage is that you can spend time with other things, just like I stated in the uh, third advantage of time management. Now, we talk about the habits and practices to have an effective time management. With this, follow the 21-90 rule, which means that 21 days to build a habit and 90 days to build a lifestyle. Okay. Let's start with the first, which is to create a schedule on the task given to you. It is important for us to have proper scheduling in order for us a time management. Also, creating a schedule is not implied, but rather it is written. We should write what we what to do and what is urgent. Next is that do the most urgent task first. Okay. I could relate it to myself because with this, if I have given two or more tasks, I tend to multitask it or do it both in the same time. but it's not that effective. But rather, I will do one task at a time, or do doing the most urgent task instead of the non-urgent task. For the third is that for the third habit is that avoid avoid distraction. To avoid distraction is that, for example, if you have a task to finish, you should get your phones away from your room, or your workroom, and instead focus on the work you tend to finish. For the fourth habit is to avoid multitasking. As I stated in the second habit, multitasking makes your work more mediocrity than doing one thing at the time. And with that, in order for us a proper time management, we should avoid multitasking and rather to focus on what we tend to finish or the most urgent task. Okay. For the fifth is one of the most important things in order to have a time management is that break your task to be small and actionable, because as a situation you tend to have a you for example, you you are tasked to write an essay or write a poem, but you didn't know when to start. Therefore, you overthink. Just like I said earlier, overthinking is equals to procrastination. Therefore, for example, if you're writing an essay on the first day after giving the task, write your essay in 5 sentences, and for the second day, sentences until you finish the task. Therefore, you with that, there is an action, whether it's small or big. It is important for time management because doing tasks hurriedly will not give your task competent like a competent or competitive task, but rather just a normal task or a scrap task. For the next or the sixth habit is that have a break. Okay, I will relate it to the fifth habit, that break your task to be small and actionable. But this time is to take a break and follow techniques like Pomodoro technique or etc. With this, for example, me as a student, but I'm studying for at least 2 hours a day. But I don't do it in straight or 2 hours straight, but rather I use 15 minutes of focus and 5 minutes of rest. Resting is not looking at your phone looking or doing some habits of or your hobbies like gaming, but rather you should you should sleep or not sleep, but rather a power nap, in order for you to have a state of awakeness in doing the tasks you have. Now that I talk about the habits and the advantages of having a good time management, now we talk about why many people struggle to manage their time. Or it is because of so much workload that increase their pressure in doing the task. Also, it is important to have a time management because It is for us to, or it is also for us to pursue our purpose in life. Because, for example, working is not our purpose of life, but also being happy is our purpose in life. And with time management, we tend to have the two at the same time. Okay. And with that, I will I will leave this podcast in saying that to do things at one is to do neither. Goodbye and thank you.